Okay, folks, I started some cantaloupe on the left. I think I need to add some type of fertilizer. And yellow Tom tomatoes from Saved Seeds. And I did it on May 15th. So today's May 25th. Growing nicely. By the time they're ready to go out, the weather will be stable enough, I think. But I need to add some kind of food. So the cantaloupe look like they're hungry. And this is my celery I've been growing for about a couple of years. When I don't have celery in the house, I just snip some off. I think it needs a little food too. It's quite old, this celery. And below here, I started a small tomato, and then it was a dwarf tomato. It's supposed to only give you tomatoes once. This is the third round, and everything fell off, but now the leaves are coming back. It sprouted up again. It's one of those tomatoes that doesn't want to give up. My little goober there below the onion. The onion's been in there for over a year, I think. Both of those. Should let it dry out a little bit. Got a bit of moss growing. But isn't it pretty? Little goober's having a good time. Yes, he is. Let's go outside. Why don't we? There's some strawberries. I put in the cage. And there's my whatever's growing in here. I'd have to get my book out to see. I know I've got beets there. And I know I have some greens there. They're growing nicely. They survive the frigid temperatures with tulle. This is tulle I have on here to keep the critters out. Let's see if I can. You probably won't even see it. There it is. There's the tulle. And then I had shade cloth over top of that. Yeah, not too bad. Not sure what was in here now. I think it was peas. It doesn't look like peas. It looks like radishes. Yeah. And then over here I have the beans. And I think radishes in the center. Right there under the tulle. Covered with the shade cloth when the temperatures were, see the shade cloth? When the temperatures were cold. I'm going to give it some sunshine. And that's zucchini. One of them's coming up and the second one is about ready to pop. So that's a good sign. And my chives. They've been coming back year after year in this container. So I thought I'd bring them out. And then in here is a contraption I built with the fan faces and a lot of zip ties. And there's a cutout at the bottom there. I just have it set on top of this, which has squash covered in tulle. Again, let's see. You see the tulle? Right there. Let me gather it up. There. And it keeps the squirrels and chipmunks out. So I had this covered in styrofoam boxes while the cold air was around, but it's warmed up now, so I think I can leave it uncovered. And this little contraption I built works really well. Let me back up so you can see it. There you go. You see it? Yeah. Works really well. There's my bonsai tree that I'm shaping. And it's growing nicely and leafing out. It's a yellow birch or white birch. It's about, oh geez, 5 or 7 years old now. When it gets older, the trunk will go white, but until such time, it'll stay this color. Isn't that pretty? Look. So I'm shaping, let's see if I can get around there. Excuse the cans and everything, I'm trying to organize. And I'm shaping with twine, pulling the, you probably can't see that very well. Hang on. Okay, the string here is anchored to the bottom, and it's pulling the limbs this way, and this one the same way, that way. See? Training it. It's fun to play around with. And these are parts that gardeners don't like to show you. I got leaves from last fall, bricks. Got cans that had plants in. Got more paraphernalia for gardening. But my back only lasts so long. And I have to pick and choose what I do. I do, however, when it sprouts at the bottom, like to take away the sprouts from the bottom. I don't want them there. I want only at the top. I need tweezers. So that's my bonsai that I've been working with for years. I just set it down into a garbage can, empty garbage can in the winter, and it survives the winter because it's in a clay pot. Excuse me, I need to sit down. It's in a clay pot, which would crack in the cold of the winter. But since I put it in a garbage can, it's protected, and this clay pot has survived, knock on wood, so far. Well, hello folks, I hope this is working. Next door had a bunch of construction going on just as soon as I started talking at this point. I don't know if they were sawing something or grinding something or mowing the lawn, I don't know. I was just talking about that's where my tomatoes are probably going to go when they get big enough and graduate for outside, which probably won't be till the end of June. More or less, and that's the chives that comes back every year for the last 3 years or something like that. So I was just talking about that and telling you about the new cell phone that my daughter gave to me, because the other one, that cell phone to use for videoing, not to use for an actual phone. And she replaces hers often, so I got her old one, which is great. I think the quality of the camera is really good. And the quality of the volume picks up everything. But you could hear me over the construction, but it was terrible. So now I'm looking at the bush beans and the radishes in this pot, covered in tulle. So far, guys, the tulle is working against the squirrels and chipmunks, and probably the birds. But for the last week and a half, I've had it covered with shade cloth. Not a tarp or nothing. Shade cloth, where it still gets light and still gets rain. So that has helped the plants survive the cold. We had high temperatures, and I put in the air conditioners, and then a few days later dipped to cold. So I had to cover my babies. But they all survived so far, and one of the cantaloupes, or no, squash, is coming up. So I hope you enjoyed this little video. It's not pretty to look at, but it's what it is. Bye.